All right, she pulled 190,000 out
So
of her
my
stock account,
husband's a
lost
year older.
thousands. You only
I'm
sell if you
71.
lose.
He's 84. Um, During COVID,
71.84.
we had our 401ks, our retirement accounts, and the stock market took a dive, and we went down like $26,000 in a week, and we got nervous, so we took it out real quick.
Ooh.
And our thought was, our thought was that we don't have time to recover. If we lose everything,
and you've been out since then?
Happened. Tried it one more time. The same thing happened, and we just couldn't do it again. We just couldn't do it.
It went up 25% 3 years in a row, and you missed that.
I know, but I keep thinking.
Basically, the stock market doubled since the start of COVID to today, right? Like massive gains, like rocket ship straight up to the Pluto, to the atmosphere, right? Like that's why you got to have brass balls in this market, right? You can't sell, double down, buy more, have some stones, some
can't
guts.
Stay like that. It's going to be gone.
But
Donna, am I going to feel worse if I lose it?
Look at Jade's face.
Go up?
But Donna,
what's going to be the worst here?
Donna, the problem is the first dive when you said you lost the 26,000.
It recovered in like 50 days.
The moment you took it out, you just locked in that loss. You 100% lost the 26,000.
You do not need to be. You do not need to be investing in the stock market.
Yeah, that's kind of like my thought. So we did try
because you don't have the backbone to stand the volatility.
Yeah, she's right. And now there's more avenues of leverage in the market with Robinhood, all these other apps, there's so much access to leverage now. That's just going to increase volatility going forward. I think most people are better off with that same pool of money, like spread out into a bunch of real estate, like a bunch of small homes, each worth $100,000 or something like that. You know, because like you're not going to get crazy volatility in homes, and it's like you could touch it; it's physically there.
No, the history of the stock market, you lost your butt. You got out at exactly the wrong time, like the worst possible.
Rub it in, Dave.
You did it the worst possible way you could have done it. And so if you're going to do that again, you need to stay away. Meanwhile, I made 100% on my money while you did that. Because I just rode the roller coaster up and down and enjoyed the ride, got off, got on it again and rode. Never got off. I just stayed on, said, take me around again.
Yeah.
Take me around.
What these people need to understand is they're like, where is all this money going to go, right? We've expanded the total quantity of dollars sloshing around the entire system. So even if it does get out of the stock market, like it only has gold, real estate, like a few other outlets, that like Bitcoin. So it's like, it's an inevitability almost at this point, barring some sort of like revolution in our spending, which is out of control right now with the government, that we just don't have a roaring stock market at a certain point, simply because we have roaring money printing.
I think there's a bigger issue.
She's understand that.
How much did you have in the stock market?
$200K.
About 190,000.
I think that's the issue. I think the bigger problem is you're worried that you don't have enough to live on throughout the entirety of your retirement. And so that's what's causing you to be very like trigger happy with this and very like quick to move.
Well, now what's causing that is a lack of knowledge of the market. And you're not familiar enough with the history of the market to be comfortable. So you think all bad news is the only news.
Dave's 100% correct here, right? Even if it went down a ton, she could just pull out a little bit of what she needs if she needed to access the money, but keep the bulk invested. She would have rode that wave back up to the top.
If you can't get past that, you're going to do this again and again. And I would recommend you don't do it again and again because you're taking a beating.
Yeah.
And at 71 and 84, you don't want to take a beating. More than anything, you're taking a beating emotionally. Your 200 would be 400 if you'd have left it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
My sister-in-law.
Oh, I don't know if it's great to tell her that at that point. I mean, maybe she needs a solid dose of like reality here, but yeah, you got to learn the history of the market, right? We're in a boom and a bust cycle, but long term, the trajectory is up and to the right, right? That's the key takeaway from all this.
Back, I think it was in the 80s or something, the stock market went bad, or the 90s. Hers was in 91, and she lost almost everything.
No, she did not.
She never recovered.
No.
She didn't get
there's
the money.
no time in the stock market's history it went to zero.
Well, it was such a small amount, and I don't know. I mean, she's my sister.
But she only would have. She only would have
lost everything, but she did not lose. That's
It's just a paper loss until you sell, right? The value of the share went down. So she didn't lose anything unless she sold. If she really had stone, she would double down and buy more. That's really what conviction is about. That's how people get truly wealthy. I mean, wealthy, like comfortable wealthy. Like you got 5, 10, 20 million in the bank and not like 200 grand.
In 2008, okay, the stock market dropped in half. It went from the Dow Jones went from 13,000 to 6,500.
Yep.
And people said, I lost everything. No, you lost half.
And the only way you lost it is if you took it out.
If you took it out at the bottom. Perfect.
Right, and you didn't lose anything. Just the valuation is half, but you only lost it if you cash out, right? Like that's the thing.
Meanwhile,
how long does it take to recover?
1 year.
Okay.
And it's not 13,000 now where it started, down to 6,500. It's now 36,000. And that's since 2008. Okay. And so in the last year, the market has made 13%. Since the first of the year, we started bombing Iran and the market went down and then back up. And it's currently from January to today down 1%. 1%. That's not losing everything. That's losing $19.
Okay.
Okay. So but you've got to get your head around this, both of you, because if you're going to believe sister-in-law's mythology and you guys are going to sit and watch the news every night and freak out, then you're going to do this again and again and again. And I don't want that for you. I think you're better off making too little money and not being awake all night.
She needs to understand the psychology of money, and most people can't do this, but I preach it. You have to remove your emotions from the investment, right? You have to have conviction, understand what you're invested in, and then remove the emotions. Understand that the marketplace can be erratic and have an erratic evaluation, right? Like when we had that COVID correction for a period of time, it's like, what really changed, right? All the people, all the buildings, all the know-how, everything anything about our economy that makes it the most incredible economy in the world is still here. So, like people need to get their head around that. The odds of a doomsday scenario, a meteorite striking, is low. So I'm betting bullish. I'm betting up and to the right.
Okay. Right now we have it in CDs.
Put it in a high yield savings account. Go to Fairwinds Credit Union, dump it in a high yield savings account, and let her ride. And you're going to make 3 or 4%. You're going to break even with inflation, but you're not going to lose anything, and you're going to sleep beautifully. But I got to make fun of you, okay?
I doubt she understands what inflation is, right? She probably doesn't understand that, like, her $100, if it buys 100 apples one year, it'll buy 97 apples the next year, right? Like, she's probably not grasping that part either. Like, oh, get 3%, it's free money. No, it's not. No such thing as free money either. So, like, sure, she's just treading water if she's getting that 4%,
I know
Meanwhile, my money's going to be doubling.
Hit him
while you're making 3%. Because it's going up.
If I can convince myself to suck it up.
You'd have to read enough, sit down with one of our Smart Investor pros and read enough and look at the market. So here's the numbers. 97% of the 5-year periods, if you leave it alone 5 years, since the stock market began, have made money. That's all of them.
97.
Okay.
Yeah, 97 is effectively 100, right? Because nothing in the world's 100. So anything with that close to 100%, we could just, for conversational sake, say it's 100. And, she needs to just think about the wider thesis, right? Like, I would ask her, like, do you think in 10, 5, 20 years, the U.S. economy will be bigger, stronger, more productive in the future than it is today? I would say it's hard to argue no. Obviously, yes. Like duh, like that kind of thing.
If you had left it alone 5 years, in any scenario that we're talking about, you would have made some money. Even in a weird,
we had explosive returns
thing, like COVID or Iran war or 2008. Okay. All of those, actually, you can look at it. It's about the same time. It's COVID hit in March, and so did Iran war. And so Trump starts bombing Iran, the market dives. All right. And so, because it always does that with geopolitical stuff. And so if you understand that every time it does that, it returns very quickly, then you start getting the opposite mindset that, like, oh, he bombed Iran. Great. I'm going to get to buy this on sale.
Right.
The stock market's now on sale because I know it's going to go up. Instead of, oh, God, I'm going to lose everything because my sister-in-law told me a mythology. So it gave me a lesson in mythology. And so, that's, but if you're going to invest again, so here's what I would do. Let me get back up. if I'm 71, I'm 66. I'm 65, getting ready to be 66. So
when he says it always comes back up here, I just pulled up this analogy on ChatGPT. After the beginning, the U.S. stock market bottomed during Pearl Harbor. It took 2 years for an all-out war, right? We're invading countries, we're bombing, everything's chaos, for it to come back to its all-time high, right? Despite a massive worldwide war, it still made it back to the regular level it was prior to the beginning of World War II. So it's like, if we could survive in the 1940s, a crash during a massive worldwide war, stopping the Nazis, pushing back the Japanese, come on, like a little bit of bombing Japan.
I would put this money in a high yield savings account and let it ride and sleep at night. Meanwhile,
yeah, he's right.
I'm going to challenge you intellectually to sit down with a Smart Investor Pro and start learning, because
here's the sales pitch
of how these markets return, how they go down, how often they come back, what the bounce back period is, and all that will cause you to ride out the waves.
Yeah, let me go over it because this is so cool to see. So what I'm going to tell you is a major market crash that we all know and how long it took to recover the losses. So you could go back to 1987. You were there for that, Black Monday.
Black Monday, yeah.
All right.
It dove.
It dove
34%.
34%. And it took 22 months to recover.
In one day.
22 months. That's less than 2 years to recover. 1990 Gulf War recession. It dove 20%. It took 4 months to get back. Just 4 months. Let's go to the .com crash. You said 49%, half. It took less than 7 years to completely recover. Half. That's that's crazy. Look at this one. 2008, the Great Recession. I remember that. 57% it dove. It took less than 4 years to recover. 2018, federal rate sell-off. 20% crash, less than 4 months to recover. 2020 COVID crash. We remember that. 34% dive. It took less than 5 months to recover. And then most recently, the 2022 inflation bear market that we all experienced, 25% dip. It took less than 22 months to recover. You just have to ride it out. If you can sit tight for 2 years, you get back.
That one's wrong, because we had a 25%, a 3%, a 26% market 3 years in a row.
We did.
And that last one's wrong, but the others are correct.
Others are correct? All right.
Yeah.
There you go, the internet.
I remember the others, so.
So we'll cut it here. And the larger part is don't sell, right? Do not sell. That stat that I gave you that it took 2 years after this breakout of World War II for the market to recover. I mean, think about a shock to economies, right? Full-on invasions of countries, destruction of major cities, and we still made it back to the all-time high again in 2 years. Like this economy is an unstoppable machine at this point, right? Like I just don't even know what to tell these people, Like, there's a lot of other extraneous factors, but I think the overarching thesis you can say is that the U.S. economy will be larger in the future than it is today, right? If you believe that, buy. No more complicated. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Love you all.